Madhya Lila, chapter 17. I was going to speak about Darwin. I thought I would speak about Darwin. And I thought, how can I bring Darwin into the Chaitanya?
Garlands.
No, Darwin. Darwin, Charles Darwin.
The famous story, Darwin.
Charles Darwin, because I've been doing a little bit of reading about Charles Darwin because of the Prabhupada wanted devotees to defeat evolution, the theory of evolution. And it fascinates me, so I was reading about that, but then I was thinking how to bring him into the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I put in a search for Darwin in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he comes up once. Prabhupada actually mentions him once. Then I thought, well, I'll read that purport that talks about, it's a very long purport that mentions Darwin. It says how Darwin, for the anthropologists, Darwin is a Mahajan, because the purport's all about different Mahajans, different personalities. Madhavendra Puri, how is a Mahajan. But then Prabhupada says for different people, he says, anyway, I should do the prayers first. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
I think verse 25, chapter 17, verse 25. But anyway, what happened was that I thought I would speak about Dharma, but then I started reading the rest of the chapter leading up to that verse, because that verse is like 185. I was reading, and I was thinking, this is so much nicer than Darwin. I'll read this. So I've got to read the story. It's the story of Lord Chaitanya in the forest with the animals. So then if we have some time, we can say a little bit about Darwin. Okay, Namo Shridaya Krishna Stai Budale. Samadhi Bhakti Vikash Swami Nitanamani. Namo Shridaya Krishna Stai Budale. Samadhi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamani. Namaste Sarvati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nivasesha Sanghavadi Prashati Om no Vanchakalpa Tribhis Chalkipa Sindhubhya Vishakati Janam with the permission of the learned gentleman and the ladies present, please tolerate me. I'm trying to do something for Prabhupada. Okay. So Lord Chaitanya's intention is to go to Vrindavan. So he's walking, and he's been at the Ratha Yatra in Puri, and then he's walking towards Vrindavan, and he comes to a forest, a big forest. In those days, like most of the world was covered in forest, like most of France was covered in forest, most of India. Still a lot of forest, but there was a lot more in those days. So Lord Chaitanya is going through this Jarakanda. Don't know what Jarakanda means, but Jarakanda forest. So I'm going to just read the verses. Many of the verses do not have purports, but if we have a purport, we can read it. When the Lord passed through the solitary forest, chanting the holy name of Krishna, the tigers and elephants, seeing him, gave way. When the Lord passed through the jungle in great ecstasy, packs of tigers, elephants, rhinoceros and boar came, and the Lord passed right through them. Balabhadra Bhattacharya was very much afraid to see them. We would also be, I expect. I would be. Even if I saw one wild boar in the forest here, I would be frightened and run away. What to speak of, rhinoceros and elephants and tigers. Tigers are known to eat human beings. So Balabhadra was fearful. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's influence, all the animals stood to one side. One day, a tiger was lying on the path, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, walking along the path in ecstatic love, touched the tiger with his feet. Does anybody know what the Bengali for tiger is? Damayanti. You know what the Bengali for tiger is?
Huh?
Tiger in Bengali, in Bangla. Huh?
Bag.
Bag. Oh, okay. It says here Vyagra. Oh, that's old Bengali.
A little bit flowery.
Flowery. It's a flowery tiger. Anyway, we know what Viagra is nowadays. It's a famous medicine for men's problems. The Lord said, chant the holy name of Krishna. The tiger immediately got up and began to dance and chant, Krishna, Krishna. And in the book there's a picture, somewhere, I think probably in our book there's pictures, and there's a picture of the tiger standing on his hind legs like this, with his paws in the air. Krishna, Krishna. I don't know, maybe we could try this with the cats. We have a lot of cats here. Yeah. Encourage the cats.
Of your potency.
Sorry? On the potency, yeah, we could test.
The test of your potency.
Yeah.
If you can do that.
If we could get maybe John and Anna Maharaj, we could
I used to trap them.
trap the cats.
Yeah, when I was doing the garden, I made a big trap.
I don't think you were the first one to do
I
it.
took them away.
Yeah.
Too many.
Well, there's a lot being born in the next few weeks. There's a lot of lady cats are very pregnant. There's going to be a lot more cats. So
Yeah.
probably won't miss a few.
A lot of preaching to do there.
Sorry? A lot of preaching to those kittens. Yeah, well, maybe we could start with them as kittens. Anyway, this is getting distracted. Another day, while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was bathing in a river, a herd of maddened elephants came there to drink water. The elephants become mad when they eat a lot of fruit. The fruit is very ripe. And when the fruit is very ripe, it becomes like a little bit alcoholic. So the elephants, they like to eat this. They eat lots and lots, and they eat tons of food every day. They eat all the fruit, and then they become like intoxicated, so in that kind of state they went to the lake. They also used to deliberately, when they use elephants in the war, these war elephants, like in the Mahabharata, these situations, they would give them alcohol. So then they were all revved up to go and fight. They were fearless.
They do the same with men in the Second World War.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know, but I believe it. They only last for a while, and then after a while you become alive. Anyway. Okay, so these elephants came. While the Lord was bathing and murmuring the Gayatri mantra, the elephants came before him. The Lord immediately splashed some water on the elephants and asked them to chant the name of Krishna. So water from the lotus hands of Lord Chaitanya splashed on these wild elephants. So the purport, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing the part of a very advanced devotee. On the Mahabhagavat platform, the devotee makes no distinction between friends and enemies. On that platform, he sees everyone as a servant of Krishna. What is the verse? Is there a verse in the Bhagavad Gita for this point, that the pure devotee sees everybody equally?
Yeah.
You know this verse? Vidyavanaya Sampane
Brahmane Gavi.
Jai. Oh, he's reading a Bible.
Cheva Vavakicha. Andita Samar.
Samadashina, that means equal vision. Samadashina. Pandita means learned person. Samadashina. Sama is the same or equal. Darshan means seeing. So he sees everybody because he doesn't see the body. He doesn't see, oh, this is an elephant, this is a tiger. He sees this is a spirit soul bewildered by the material energy, thinking he's an elephant, or thinking he's a tiger, or thinking he's a human, thinking he's French. The humble sage, the translation of that verse, the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. That's Bhagavad Gita 5:18. A Mahabhagavat, being learned and advanced in spiritual consciousness, sees no difference between a tiger, an elephant, or a learned scholar. The test of advanced spiritual consciousness is that one becomes fearless. He envies no one, and he is always engaged in the Lord's service. So this is why he sees everybody equally, because he has no envy. Yeah, he has no envy. He's pure, his heart is pure. And he sees as Krishna sees. Yeah. He sees every living entity as an eternal part and parcel of the Lord, rendering service according to his capacity by the will of the Lord. As Bhagavad Gita confirms, Sarvasya chaham hridisani visto matasmitam jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Bhagavad Gita 15:15. The Mahabhagavat knows that Krishna is in everyone's heart. Krishna is dictating, and the living entity is following his dictations. Krishna is within the heart of the tiger, the elephant, and the boar. Therefore, Krishna tells them. This is how it happens. Yeah? This is why the animals were standing aside when Lord Chaitanya and Balabhadra Bhattacharya were going through the jungle. Krishna in the heart tells them, here is a Mahabhagavat, please do not disturb him. So Krishna can dictate in the heart of a living entity. This is how Krishna protects us. So one of the tenets of being a Vaishnava is that you don't defend yourself. You can defend other devotees and you can defend Krishna, but you don't defend yourself, but you allow Krishna to defend you. And this is how one way that Krishna would defend us. He would dictate to the person, leave this person alone, he's a devotee. If we chant the Shringa prayers, so many stories of how devotees have taken shelter of Lord Shringadev and been saved from dangerous situations by Krishna's arrangement. Okay, so Krishna dictates the animal's heart. Why then should the animals be envious of such a great personality? Those who are neophytes or even a little progressed in devotional service should not try to imitate the Mahabhagavat. Rather, they should only follow in their footsteps. The word anukar means imitating, and anusar means trying to follow in the footsteps. We should not try to imitate the activities of a Mahabhagavat or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our best efforts should be exerted in trying to follow them according to our ability. The Mahabhagavat's heart is completely free from material contamination, and he can become very dear even to fierce animals like tigers and elephants. Indeed, the Mahabhagavat treats them as his very intimate friends. On this platform, there is no question of envy. When the Lord was passing through the forest, he was in ecstasy, thinking the forest to be Vrindavan. He was simply searching for Krishna. There's a joke. Can I tell a joke? Is that allowed? Krishna conscious joke. There was a devotee who was in the forest and he met a tiger. And he started praying to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Please make this tiger into a devotee. Make this tiger into similar situation. But make this tiger into a devotee. Krishna, Krishna, let him become a devotee. And the tiger started saying, Sari Rara Vidyajal, Videndriyahate Kal.
And then he ate it.
Yeah.
So if you can crush out these days.
So it wasn't a Mahabhagavat devotee, obviously. The elephants whose bodies were touched by the water splashed by the Lord began to chant, Krishna, Krishna, and dance and sing in ecstasy. So I suppose they'd be saying Krishna through their trunk, Krishna, Krishna,
Oh, you did.
or whether it would be through their mouth. Some of the elephants fell to the ground and some screamed in ecstasy.
Could be a good scene.
Yeah. I always want to see these. When I read all these things, all these different descriptions, or demons, or great fights, great battles, or I always think, oh, I'd like to see it. I'd like to, visually see this. But you can actually see it by reading it, and if you're advanced, you can really see it. The spiritual platform. Some of these elephants fell to the ground, some screamed in ecstasy. Seeing this, Balabhadra Bhattacharya was completely astonished. Like he had never seen anything like this. And he's the only witness, actually. He's the only devotee there who's recorded this. He must have told, Krishnadas Kaviraj wrote this down, but that was much, much later. So he must have heard from the witness at the time as Balabhadra. Sometimes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted very loudly while passing through the jungle. Hearing his sweet voice, all the does came near him. Doe means a female deer. Biche, isn't it in French? Hearing the Lord's great vibration, all the does followed him left and right. While reciting a verse with great curiosity, the Lord patted them, like this, like you would a dog. So then he quotes a verse, Lord Chaitanya quotes a verse from the 10th canto. Blessed are all these foolish deer, because they have approached the son of Maharaj Nanda, who is gorgeously dressed and is playing on his flute. Indeed, both the does and the bucks worship the Lord with looks of love and affection. The buck is a male deer, Monsieur deer, and Madame deer. So they were looking at Lord Chaitanya with affection in their eyes. There's one of the paintings is showing this, the deer standing around Lord Chaitanya looking at it like this, his hand. So that verse was spoken by the gopis. They were seeing how fortunate the deer were to be associating with Krishna. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was passing through the jungle, 5 or 7 tigers came. Joining the deer, the tigers began to follow the Lord. So normally tigers eat deer, but here the deer and the tigers are all associating together and following Lord Chaitanya. So they've transcended their animal natures, because the deer would, if they were on the animal platform, the material platform, the deer would run away very quickly, and the tigers would try to eat them, at least catch them and eat them. But they're all on the transcendental platform by Lord Chaitanya's association. So they're just entranced, following him, not thinking about animal activity. Seeing the tigers and deer following him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately remembered the land of Vrindavan. Then he began to recite a verse describing the transcendental quality of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the transcendental abode of the Lord. There is no hunger, anger, or thirst there. Though naturally inimical, both human beings and fierce animals live together in transcendental friendship. Purport. This is a statement from the Srimad Bhagavatam. After stealing the cowherd boys, calves and cows of Sri Krishna, Lord Brahma kept them asleep and hid them. After a moment, Brahma returned to see Krishna's condition. When he saw that Krishna was still busy with his cowherd boyfriends and animals and was not disturbed, Lord Brahma appreciated the transcendental opulence of Vrindavan. So he'd stolen the cows and the calves and the cowherd boys. He'd stolen them, not cows, but calves. He'd stolen the calves and the cowherd boys and hidden them in a cave. And he came back to see what reaction Krishna was having. But the calves, and the cowherd boys were still there. Because Krishna had mystically reproduced them. So Lord Brahma was trying to bewilder Krishna, to show off his mystic potency to Krishna. But actually when he went back to see Krishna, having done his trick, he went back to Krishna and he saw that actually Krishna's mystic potency was way, way ahead. And then Lord Brahma actually became himself very bewildered. He didn't know what to do, what to think. Okay, we're carrying on. Is it in Jarakanda forest? When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Chant Krishna, Krishna," the tigers and deer began to dance and chant, "Krishna!" When all the tigers and does danced and jumped, Balabhadra Bhattacharya saw them and was struck with wonder. Indeed, the tigers and deer began to embrace one another, and touching mouths, they began to kiss. So the tigers and the deer were kissing each other in transcendental affection. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw all this fun, he began to smile. So he was just having fun by doing this. It's just, for him it was just like... So I wonder what happened to those souls there. Those souls were in those bodies of the deer and the elephants and the tigers. Must be, have gone back to Godhead. Okay, he saw them, he began to smile, and then finally he left the animals and continued on his way. Various birds, including the peacock, saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to follow him, chanting and dancing. They were all maddened by the holy name of Krishna. When the Lord chanted loudly, Haribo! The trees and creepers became jubilant to hear him. So what does Haribo mean?
Chant.
Chant, yeah. Bol means chant, and Hari means Hari, Krishna. So when you say Haribo, actually you're instructing somebody. Chant Hari, chant the name of the Lord. So somebody was saying that you shouldn't actually tell people Haribo, you should greet them Hari Krishna, because that's what Prabhupada said. Prabhupada would meet somebody, he would say Hare Krishna, or if it was some non-devotee, he would say good morning. But when you say Haribo, you're instructing. I'm in the habit of saying Haribo. But anyway, that's the point, that you're instructing people to chant. When you say Haribo. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. It's a good instruction, but that's what you're doing actually. The loud chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is so powerful that it can even penetrate the ears of trees and creepers. What to speak of animals and human beings. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once asked Haridas Thakur how trees and plants could be delivered. And Haridas Thakur replied that the loud chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra would benefit not only the trees and plants, but insects and all other living beings. One should therefore not be disturbed by the loud chanting of Hare Krishna, for it is beneficial not only to the chanter, but to everyone who gets an opportunity to hear. So you can go in the forest and preach to the trees. There's nobody else to preach to. Thus all living entities, some moving and some standing still, in the forest of Jarikanda became maddened by hearing the holy name of Lord Krishna vibrated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In all the villages through which the Lord passed and in all the places he rested on his journey, everyone was purified and awakened to ecstatic love of God. When someone heard the chanting of the holy name from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and someone else heard this chanting from that second person, and someone again heard this chanting from the third person, everyone in all countries became a Vaishnav through such disciplic succession. Thus everyone chanted the holy name of Krishna and Hari, and they danced, cried, and smiled. Purport. Prabhupada's talking about the holy name. The transcendental power or potency of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is herein explained. First, the holy name is vibrated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When someone hears from him, directly he is purified. When another person hears from that person, he is also purified. In this way, the purification process is advanced among pure devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and no one can claim his potency. Nonetheless, if one is a pure devotee, hundreds and thousands of men can be purified by his vibration. So we saw this when Prabhupada was on the planet. Thousands of people became his disciples, what to speak of more thousands who were affected by hearing from Prabhupada. So this potency is within every living being. This potency is to purify others. Yeah? This potency is within every living being, provided he chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra offenselessly, without material motives. When a pure devotee chants offenselessly, another person will become a Vaishnav, and from him another Vaishnav will emerge. This is the Parampara system. So the key is this offenseless chanting. Then that gives us a potency. So that's what we need, Gaura Hari Prabhu, to convert the cats. We need this pure chanting, yeah.
And the cats will stop preaching?
Yeah, all the other cats will be going round on their hind legs. Haribol. That would be amazing. I mean, it is possible, it's actually possible if we are all super pure devotees. But Chaitanya's set the precedent, but I don't know, maybe not so likely. We could at least work on making human beings into Vaishnavas. The Lord did not always manifest his ecstasy. Being afraid of a great assembly of people, the Lord kept his ecstasy concealed. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his natural ecstatic love, everyone became a pure devotee simply by seeing and hearing him. Purport. Just by seeing a pure devotee, you can become a devotee. Just by seeing Srila Prabhupada. People have become devotees just by seeing him. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his natural ecstatic love, everyone became a pure devotee simply by seeing and hearing him. Srila Rupa Goswami has described Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Mahavadanya Avatar. What does that mean? Mahavadanya, yeah.
Most merciful.
Most merciful, most magnanimous, most kind. But then they say that even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya is Lord Nityananda. He's even more merciful because he gives us Lord Chaitanya. Although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now not physically present, simply by chanting his holy name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda, people throughout the world are becoming devotees. So Prabhupada also, he preferred that we chant the whole Panchatattva mantra. He said, better to chant the whole Panchatattva mantra. If you want to chant the name of Chaitanya, you chant the whole Panchatattva mantra. Better to do that than to chant Nitai Gauranga, or Gaura Haribol, or Nityananda. I don't know, people chant Nityananda, or Nitai, Gaura, Gaura. So many variations, creative variations. But actually Prabhupada said that we should chant the whole Panchatattva mantra. That's the best. If we want to glorify Lord Chaitanya, that's the best. We already have the mantra. Some devotees were chanting japa of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chanting Panchatattva mantra as a japa, Gorpanim or something like that. They would chant 16 rounds of Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. But Prabhupada didn't tell us to do that, so that's also a deviation. Okay, so people are becoming devotees by hearing the Panchatattva mantra. This is due to the ecstatic chanting of the holy name of the Lord. It is said that a pure devotee can see the Lord every moment. And because of this, he is empowered by the Lord. This is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadeva Raeshu Vilokaihanti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, but cannot be said that now the potency of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is less powerful. It cannot be said that it is less powerful than it was in his presence. By hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through the Parampara system, one can be purified. So Lord Chaitanya is there in the sound vibration. And Prabhupada also said that about the Bhagavad Gita. He said it was spoken to Arjuna. He said, but the same potency is there for us if we hear Bhagavad Gita. It can be the same if we hear with rapt attention in a pure, receptive state of mind. It's the same as Arjuna here in the Bhagavad Gita. We can also get the full benefit of hearing from Krishna. Okay. Therefore, in this verse it says, Tatapi Tanra Darshan Shravana Prabhavi. It is not that everyone is able to see Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu physically, but if one hears about him through books like Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and through the Parampara system of pure Vaishnavas, there is no difficulty in becoming a pure Vaishnav, free from mundane desires and personal motivations. So we have the means to become pure devotees. It's a matter of just applying that process, having the determination to, and the conviction, the faith, comes down to faith, the faith to apply the process. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally toured Bengal, East Bengal, Orissa and the southern countries, and he delivered all kinds of people by spreading Krishna consciousness. So that's how he was spreading Krishna consciousness, just by his personal presence. He would just walk into a village and chant and people would become devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Jharkhand on his way to Mathura. He found that the people there were almost uncivilized, and were devoid of God consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave even the Beals an opportunity to chant the holy name. The Beals were some Shudras. Come to the platform of ecstatic love. Thus he delivered all of them. Who has the power to understand the transcendental pastimes of the Lord? Purport. As evidence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, we are experiencing that the people of Africa are taking to Krishna consciousness, chanting and dancing and taking prasad like other Vaishnavas. This is all due to the power of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who can understand how his potency is working all over the world. Prabhupada is not politically correct. Let's have this modern concept of being politically correct. I'm not saying anything that makes people feel they might be unequal. Prabhupada would say things about women being having a smaller brain, or being less intelligent, and he also said things about people with darker skins. So Prabhupada says here in the purport about people in Africa taking to Krishna consciousness. I think that's referring to that. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through the Jharkhand forest, he took it for granted that it was Vrindavan. When he passed over the hills, he took it for granted that they were Govardhan. So Lord Chaitanya was completely in Vrindavan consciousness. He was just absorbed in love of Krishna. Just everywhere is Vrindavan. Similarly, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw a river, he immediately accepted it as the...
River Yamuna.
Yeah. If you're in Vrindavan, the river's a Yamuna. So, and while in the forest, he was filled with great ecstatic love, and he danced and fell down crying. Along the way, Balabhadra Bhattacharya collected all sorts of spinach, roots and fruit wherever possible. Whenever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited a village, a few brahmanas, 5 or 7, would come and extend invitations to the Lord. Some people would bring grains and deliver them to Balabhadra Bhattacharya, Others would bring milk and yogurt. And still others would bring ghee and sugar. So this is what Lord Chaitanya was eating. In some villages there were no brahmanas. Nonetheless, devotees born in non-brahmana families came and extended invitations to Balabhadra Bhattacharya. I'm not going to read this purport. It's a purport about people becoming brahmanas and not born in brahmana families. And how you can accept a brahmana will only accept food from a brahmana household, but a devotee can accept food from anybody if they're a Vaishnava, no matter what, whether they're a brahmana or not a brahmana, or a shudra, or if they're a devotee, you can accept prasadam. Balabhadra Bhattacharya used to cook all kinds of vegetables gathered from the forest, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to accept these preparations. Balabhadra Bhattacharya used to keep a stock of food grains that would last from 2 to 4 days. When there were no people, he would cook the grains and prepare vegetables, spinach, fruits and roots collected from the forest. I've got the symptom of old age. My mouth dribbles here. Every now and again as this uncontrollable saliva is just coming out because the indignity of old age. The Lord was always very happy to eat these forest vegetables. He was even happier when he had an opportunity to stay in a solitary place. Balabhadra Bhattacharya was so affectionate to the Lord that he was rendering service just like a menial servant. His assistant Brahmana carried the water pot and garments. So now he has an assistant carrying the water pot and garments. The Lord used to bathe 3 times a day in the warm water of the waterfalls. So it was warm in the forest, it must have been very warm if the water was warm. Warm waterfalls. It sounds quite nice actually, going through the forest. If you're not scared of the tigers and all the other wild animals, it would be nice, Forest, just picking some vegetables, cooking on the firewood, taking a bath in a warm waterfall. Very ecological. While travelling in this secluded forest and feeling very happy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the following statement. He said, "My dear Bhattacharya, I have travelled very far through the forest, and I have not even slightly received any trouble. Krishna is very merciful, especially to me. He has shown his mercy by bringing me on this path through the forest." So he's in the role of a devotee, even though it's Krishna himself. He's in the role of a devotee. He's thinking Krishna is very kind. And we also can appreciate Krishna is very kind. He's given us this temple, these beautiful surroundings in New Mayapur. This now as the weather is very nice, we can appreciate that. We can appreciate so many things. We have nice prasadam, nice association, so many opportunities to read and chant and hear from senior devotees, have festivals. So we should be very appreciative. Thus Krishna has given me great pleasure. Krishna likes to make his devotees happy. Before this, I decided to go to Vrindavan and on the way see my mother, the river Ganges. So he means the river Ganges is his mother. And other devotees once again. I thought that once again I would see and meet all the devotees and take them with me to Vrindavan. Thus I went to Bengal and I was very happy. Oh no, it doesn't. I think it means, no, it doesn't mean that the Ganges is his mother, because they say Mother Ganges, but no, it's not. It actually means his mother, literally his mother. excuse me. Thus I went to Bengal. I was very happy to see my mother, the river Ganges, and the devotees. However, when I started for Vrindavan, many thousands and millions of people gathered and began to go with me. Thus I was going to Vrindavan with a big crowd. But through the mouth of Sanatan, Krishna taught me a lesson. Thus, by making some impediment, he has brought me on a path through the forest to Vrindavan. So I don't know what Sanatan told him, but maybe it was something to give advice to go with just one or two people. Krishna is an ocean of mercy. He is especially merciful to the poor and fallen. Without his mercy, there is no possibility of happiness. That's a quote from no, it's not a quote, just Lord Chaitanya speaking. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Balabhadra Bhattacharya and told him, "It is only by your kindness that I am now so happy." He's giving all the credit to Balabhadra Bhattacharya. Balabhadra Bhattacharya replied, "My dear Lord, you are Krishna himself, and therefore you are merciful. I am a fallen living entity, but you have bestowed a great favour upon me." So that's actually, he's being humble, acknowledging that actually Krishna has arranged everything. "I am most fallen, yet you have brought me with you. Showing great mercy, you have accepted food prepared by me." So today, Krishna is going to be very merciful. He's going to accept food prepared by Revati Nandan.
Wow.
And we will all get to honour the remnants, Krishna's remnants. "You have made me your carrier, Garuda, although I am no better than a condemned crow. Thus you are the independent personality of Godhead, the original Lord." The Supreme Personality of Godhead as the form of Sat Chitananda Vigraha, transcendental bliss and knowledge and transcendental bliss, knowledge and eternity. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him who turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Such is the mercy of the Lord. I'll stop there because I just heard the trolley going. The trolley, they take the breakfast. You can hear the trolley going from the Prajari department to the Prashadam eating department. So breakfast must be ready.
Somebody's chanting their rounds, walking.
Oh, that's what the creaking noise is, yeah. Yeah. Oh, is it? No, it's the cutting.
No.
Is that the creaking noise as well?
Chanting in Prabhupada's.
Yeah, Prabhupada's above.
We should be told not to do that during the class. Walking up and down.
At least sit down.
Please sit still. They could go in the forest and chant to the trees.
That's probably what this is meant.
When I first came to Krishna consciousness, I was very nervous and fearful, and I hardly spoke. And I used to be very worried every morning. I would wake up and think, oh no, I hope they don't ask me to chant the shloka. I would be just so nervous, and if any way possible I could avoid chanting the shloka, because I just would feel very, exposed, like an animal coming out from under the stone when they ask me to chant the shloka. But now I'm bold. And I sit up here and I read in front of all these people. So this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Or maybe not the mercy, maybe you say it's probably better if she stayed quiet, but it says here, enables the dumb to become eloquent speakers. Not about eloquent, but so I'm trying, trying to do it for Prabhupada. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vaishnava Sangha ki jai.
Jai.
You want to ask, make a comment, please?
Thank you for the class. When you say the devotee doesn't protect himself, but
Yeah.
don't we need to protect our body because it is the It belongs to Krishna. If
Yeah.
somebody attacks us,
That's maintenance. That's maintenance. But if somebody attacks us, actually, the better thing is to let Krishna protect us. That is the better thing. You know.
He can protect us through our arms.
Yeah, I'll give you the intelligence. It's
Depends what kind of.
But it's
Depends
also,
your
we
level
also
of realization.
shouldn't make Krishna do work for us.
Yeah, see, there you are. This is a debate. This is the point to debate. There's obviously different levels of realization and different angles of vision. I know, I can give this example from my own life. Say you're having a difficult relationship with somebody, and somebody's angry with you, and they want to come to you and confront. You know, they're trying to have a fight. You can see that they're in that mood and they want to have a fight with you. And my realization is if you reciprocate and fight with them, it just can escalate. Right? But if you just go, Krishna, Krishna, please, you know, I just take the humble position and say, okay, Krishna sent this person, he's angry with me, or she's angry with me, I accept. I must have done something wrong, I've deserved this, just accept it. Tolerate. Thank you very much for purifying me, I deserve this, thank you. And then Krishna will dissipate the situation. Krishna will just, but as long as you know, even internally, and sometimes it comes out the mouth, you engage in that difficulty with that person, you engage in that, you know, friction with that other person, then it will build, you know, it can build up. And then you go around saying, this person, he's like this and this and this and this, and yeah. And it becomes like a war, and that you become like, you know, you have people who, you know, are your side, and there are people on his side, and it becomes like, and then the Krishna consciousness, it generates into politics, because it's all to do with, you know, party interest. So, my understanding is that when these things happen, it's best to kind of tolerate. If you can tolerate, you may have to go and speak to another devotee and say, oh, this happened and that happened, and it's not right or something, but I've seen Krishna will step in and do something if you let him. But I know you're talking more about protecting your body, like if somebody attacks your body and you want to distribute books and they disable you. Maybe that kind of situation, is that what you mean?
no, it's good what you're talking also to
I think just let, you know, there's a saying in Ireland, they say, let go and let God.
Sometimes the
They're
best
fighting
defense
now.
is just
Yes. But that's probably why they tell each other that, you know,
Fighting
cool
about.
down, let go, let God.
sometimes often the best defense is just run, just get out of
Yeah,
get away from that
yeah,
tense situation.
yeah. Yeah, you can remove yourself. That's one reason I came to France,
If
because I
somebody
had to
comes up
remove
to you
myself.
on the street and wants to fight, and you
Yeah,
just
just run away. There are different tactics, you know, but it's not good to get absorbed in some animosity. It's not a good idea, you know, because it's a big distraction. It can be a big maya, you know. But yeah, maybe sometimes you'd have to. There's sometimes you have devotees who are like, you know, a hit team. You know, if somebody comes to attack the temple, there'll be one or two devotees who come on, and they'll be like, oh great, we can go out, we can have a fight now. One devotee went and broke somebody's arm, you know, there was these youngsters coming in the temple grounds in Belfast. It happens a lot. You know, youngsters, they're like, you know, maybe 13, 14, 15, and they just come and make fun of the Hare Krishnas. There were some Russian devotees. Huh?
Badri Narayan, he has this amazing story from San Diego about some bullies who would regularly pass by, drive through an alley behind the temple and make trouble. And finally, it's a long story, so I will not tell it. They had a group, they called themselves the Kshatriyas from LA. So he called them in. They came and they really gave it to them. They never came back again.
No.
They ended up all in the hospital with broken arms and legs.
Wow, it's amazing they didn't get done by the
They
police.
really gave it to them.
Wow.
And the best is the end of the story, because they had been complaining to the police, and the chief policeman said, "No, sorry, we cannot help you. We can." Okay, and he said, "Okay, then we have to take care of it ourselves." And then after that, they were called again to the police, and the policeman was like admonishing them, you cannot, this is, what do you call it, self-justice, like that. So, and of course he defended, well, we asked you for help, you wouldn't help us. And then all of a sudden, the chief police constable, he gives him the hand, and he says, "I would never have thought that you would have the balls to do this."
Little do they know. Little do they know. The two biggest battles on earth, isn't it? The battle in the Ramayana, the battle with Ravana and the battle with Duryodhana, they were fought by Vaishnavas. So Vaishnavas can fight.
I mean, some people think we're pacifists.
Yeah, we're pacifists.
We're not
we're
exactly
wimps.
pacifist.
Yeah. So you can defend another devotee. So if there's somebody else, let him defend you.
We have to defend the other devotees. If we have to defend the movement, we should be ready to fight. That's something devotees often don't understand. I've seen that. Either because they don't understand the philosophy, or just because they're afraid.
Yeah, well, I would be in the
Prabhupada
afraid.
said it. He said it on occasion. He said, you become a devotee means you take up, you chant Hare Krishna and you try to spread it, and somebody will try to stop you, and we have to fight with them. That is Krishna consciousness.
It means you're having some impact. If people
Prabhupada was
can't
such a
fight.
fighter.
Yeah, he was completely.
A physical fighter?
Even that, if need be. But he was an old man, but
There's a story about with Prabhupada. There were devotees up on a stage, and there were ladies on the stage as well.
oh yeah.
And the people were getting out of hand, and they were kind of
tried
grabbing
to drag
at
the
the
devotees down from the stage, and Prabhupada came and was swinging the cartons towards the face
with the
of
carton
this lady.
like a chakra. Hare Krishna.
Somebody.
And Shamsundar, he tells the story, I think, from Mexico. When there was a drunkard coming, they were walking on the street, and the drunkard was coming towards Prabhupada. And Prabhupada with his cane, Shamsundar said he laid him down cold. Yeah, like that.
Well, that's a good precedent, isn't it? Right.
And Prabhupada, he just kept walking as if nothing had happened. Just, and the man was just.
It's
Prabhupada
actually a
was
blessing.
as if nothing had happened, he just kept walking.
Yeah.
Shamsundar said, Prabhupada was so cool.
Yes.
And when they were building this temple in Bombay,
Yeah, that was the biggest fight.
then
That was the
there were
biggest
people
fight.
coming and they were trying to stop them to build, and there was a court case, and they had to build it, build something. They had just few days, and if they would build, then the court would not allow to destroy it. And they had the deadline, and then there were some guy was coming and saying, if you don't stop building, I will come with my boys and we will just beat you or
Smash.
They
They
came
smash
with
everything,
rifles,
yeah.
they came with guns.
And the devotee who was protecting, he brought a rifle and he said, I have 150 bullets and you
There
will
was
have
a
to
Indian
come with
man who was
151 boys to stop me.
I forgot his name, one Indian man there, and he was, Prabhupada appreciated it so much. It's in Giriraj Maharaj's book.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a bit